The space that Israel occupies in U.S. political debates is, by any measure, extraordinary. In land area, the Jewish state ranks 149th in a list of 195 independent nations. It is smaller than Belize and El Salvador, and only slightly larger than Slovenia. And yet, despite its size and despite its distance from the United States, Israel, and particularly its conflicts with the Palestinians and surrounding nations, remains one of the most intensely debated topics in all of American politics. The participants in these debates often treat competing arguments not as matters of policy, but as challenges to their personal identities. This tendency has long been evident among American Jews, but in recent decades it has also become true of millions of conservative Christians. More and more, it is evident in Israel's opponents as well. This identity-infused inflexibility is one of many causes of the debate's intensity, and one reason why arguments so often veer away from any recognizable reality experienced by the people who actually live there. Just as extraordinary as the degree of attention paid to Israel in the United States is the level of support it receives. This support takes countless forms. Most obviously, it can be seen in opinion polls, in which Americans demonstrate significantly more sympathy for Israel, as opposed to the Palestinians, than do citizens of any other nation on earth. This is true for liberals, conservatives, and moderates alike, and it is true not only for Jews, but also for Protestants and for Catholics. It is true, or at least it has been until recently, for almost everyone, with just a few significant exceptions. Israel's popularity with U.S. citizens, however, does not begin to explain the degree of indulgence it receives from the U.S. government. After all, gun control, strict environmental regulation, and higher taxes on the super-wealthy also poll extremely well with the public, but are not at all reflected in congressional legislation. In addition, foreign aid is just about the most unpopular cause, at least in the abstract, that any pollster can identify. And yet, America's generosity to Israel is literally unparalleled, not only in U.S. history, but in the history of any nation. Since its founding in 1948, Israel has been by far the largest U.S. foreign aid recipient, despite the fact that it has grown to be among the world's dozen wealthiest nations, as measured by per capita gross domestic product. What's more, Israel receives this aid, as policy scholars Amnon Kavari and Elon Nair have put it, earlier than other countries, with fewer limitations on how to use the funds and minimal bureaucratic oversight, essentially unaudited allocation, and is one of the very few countries that benefit from laws permitting tax deductions for contributions to foreign charities.